Welcome to Whisper and Learn channel. In today's video, we'll dive into another engaging story to help you improve your English listening skills while enjoying a relaxing and stress-free experience. Each story is crafted to teach practical vocabulary, enhance your comprehension, and provide meaningful life lessons. So grab your headphones, relax, and let's begin.
The warm summer breeze rustled through the towering oak trees as guests arrived at the grand estate for the wedding of Emily and James. It was the kind of day that felt like it had been taken straight from a storybook. Golden sunlight streaming through the leaves, laughter drifting in the air, and the scent of fresh roses lining the white-draped ceremony aisle. Among the arriving guests were two strangers, unaware that their lives were about to change forever. Olivia Bennet adjusted the strap of her lavender dress and took a deep breath. Weddings always made her emotional, not because she was desperate for love, but because they reminded her of how rare and beautiful true connection was. She had spent the last few years focused on her career in publishing, leaving little time for romance. Attending Emily's wedding was both a joyful reunion with old friends and a quiet reminder that she was still searching for something, someone. On the other side of the estate, Ethan Carter buttoned his navy suit jacket, sighing as he glanced around. He didn't mind weddings, but he preferred small, intimate gatherings over grand celebrations. As James's college friend, he had flown in for the occasion, expecting a pleasant evening, good food, and maybe a few conversations with familiar faces. Love wasn't something he had been looking for. In fact, he had nearly skipped the wedding entirely. The ceremony was breathtaking. As the bride and groom exchanged vows, Olivia wiped away a stray tear. Ethan, sitting a few rows back, couldn't help but admire the sincerity of the moment. He had always been skeptical of grand romantic gestures, but something about the way James looked at Emily made him wonder if love could truly be as simple as choosing the right person and holding on to them. After the ceremony, guests gathered for the reception in a beautifully decorated garden. Twinkling fairy lights wrapped around the trees, casting a warm glow as soft music played in the background. Olivia found herself at the bar, ordering a glass of champagne, when a voice beside her said, "You don't seem like someone who enjoys big weddings." She turned and found herself face to face with Ethan. He had a kind smile and a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Olivia laughed softly. "What gave it away?" "The way you sighed when they announced the bouquet toss." She grinned. "Guilty. I love weddings, but I don't love the pressure that comes with them." Ethan nodded, taking a sip of his drink. "Same here. I think they're beautiful, but sometimes it feels like everyone expects you to have your own love story figured out just because you're here." They ended up talking for longer than either of them expected. Conversation flowed effortlessly, from books to travel to career dreams and funny wedding mishaps. Olivia found herself drawn to Ethan's quiet confidence, and he was captivated by her wit and warmth. When it was time for dinner, they were seated at the same table, as if fate had planned it. They laughed over awkward toasts, stole glances during slow dances, and eventually found themselves walking together beneath the string lights. "You know," Ethan said, stopping near the fountain, "this isn't how I expected tonight to go." "Me neither," Olivia admitted, "but I'm not complaining." "Me neither," he echoed, his eyes searching hers. "Would you like to get coffee sometime? No wedding pressure, just two people seeing where this goes." Olivia smiled, feeling something she hadn't in a long time. Hope. "I'd love that." Their first coffee date turned into a second, and then a third. Over the following weeks, Olivia and Ethan found themselves caught in something that neither of them had planned for, yet both had secretly hoped for. They explored the city together. Sunday mornings at the farmer's market, late-night conversations over warm cups of tea, and impromptu walks through the park with Max, Olivia's golden retriever. What had started as a simple conversation at a wedding had evolved into something deeper, something that felt impossibly right. They became each other's favorite company. They shared their favorite spots, the quiet bookstore tucked away on a side street, the cafe that made the best croissants, the rooftop where Ethan liked to sit and watch the city lights. Olivia introduced Ethan to the world of classic literature, slipping him her favorite books, while Ethan took her to art exhibits, teaching her to see stories in every brushstroke. One evening, as they sat on a bench by the river, Ethan handed her a small sketchbook. "I started drawing again," he admitted. Inside were small sketches, scenes from their outings, little moments he had captured in ink. Olivia flipped through the pages, feeling something tighten in her chest. "These are beautiful," she whispered. "You never told me you were this talented." Ethan shrugged, a little embarrassed. "You make it easy. Spending time with you makes me want to create again." Her heart fluttered, but she didn't say anything. Instead, she simply smiled, running her fingers over the pages as if memorizing each one. Despite their growing closeness, both Olivia and Ethan hesitated to take the next step. There were moments where they lingered too long after saying goodbye, where their hands brushed in passing, where their laughter melted into quiet, unspoken longing. But neither of them voiced it. One night, during a particularly rainy evening, Ethan showed up at Olivia's door with a takeout bag in one hand and a soaked umbrella in the other. "You looked stressed today," he said. Figured you could use some company. She blinked at him in surprise before stepping aside to let him in. They ate in her tiny kitchen, the rain tapping against the window. And when the power flickered, leaving them in the soft glow of candlelight, Olivia realized something. She didn't just enjoy Ethan's company. She needed it. "Why are you always so thoughtful?" she asked softly. Ethan looked up, holding her gaze for a long moment before he said, "Because you matter to me, Olivia." Her breath hitched, and for the first time she allowed herself to fully acknowledge what had been growing between them. This wasn't just friendship. It never had been. But love rarely comes without its challenges. One evening over dinner, Ethan hesitated before speaking. "Olivia, there's something I need to tell you." She set down her fork, concern flickering in her eyes. "What is it?" he exhaled. "I might be moving. There's an opportunity for me to work in London for a year. I wasn't sure if I'd take it, but it's a big step in my career." Olivia's stomach tightened. She had spent years building walls around her heart, afraid of getting attached only to be left behind. And now, just when she had started to believe in something real, distance threatened to take it away. "When would you leave?" she asked softly. "In 2 months." A long silence stretched between them. "Do you want to go?" she finally asked. Ethan hesitated, then nodded. "I do. But I don't want to lose us either." They sat there, caught in the space between love and uncertainty. Olivia could have walked away. It would have been easier than opening herself up to heartache. But instead, she reached across the table and took his hand. "We'll figure it out," she said, her voice steady. "If we want this, really want this, we'll find a way." And they did. They navigated the distance with late-night calls, surprise visits, and handwritten letters that carried pieces of their hearts across the ocean. They learned that love wasn't about proximity, it was about commitment. About choosing each other every single day. When Ethan returned a year later, stepping off the plane with a familiar smile and arms open wide, Olivia knew. This wasn't just something fleeting, it was home. Home wasn't a place. It was a feeling, a sense of belonging in someone's presence. It was in the way Ethan looked at her as if she were the most important person in the world. It was in the way she had waited for him, knowing deep down that some things were worth holding on to, even across oceans and time zones. Love had never been about grand gestures or perfect timing. It had been about trust, about choosing each other through the uncertainties. It had been about quiet moments. A shared meal, a handwritten letter, a promise whispered over a late-night call. As Ethan pulled her into his arms, Olivia realized something else. Love wasn't about finding the perfect person, but about finding someone whose imperfections you cherished. Someone who made the hard days easier, the ordinary days extraordinary, and the distance between them only a test of how much they truly cared. And as they walked hand in hand through the airport, Olivia understood that the best love stories weren't just written in fairy tales. They were created in everyday choices, in the willingness to stay, to wait, and to believe that love, true, deep, unwavering love, was always worth it.
Thank you for listening to this story on Whisper and Learn channel. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable today. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that make learning English fun and effective. Let us know in the comments what you think of this story or what topics you'd like to hear next. See you in the next video. Happy learning!